Hi, in this video, I will be speaking about rules numbers 16 to 20 of the subject and verb agreement. Let me talk first about rule number 16. Rule number 16 in subject-verb agreement says, when gerunds are used as the subject of a sentence, they take the singular verb form of the verb. But when they are linked by and, meaning you have more than one gerund, then your subjects will take the plural form of the verb. First, what is a gerund? A gerund is a verb form that ends in ing. If you have an infinitive beginning with to, this is gerund, which is a word ending in ing. For example, you have walking, singing, dancing. So, this ing ending word is used as a noun. So, similar to infinitive, it is also used as a noun. So, if it is used as a noun, it can be used either as a subject or the object of the sentence. So, with respect to subject and verb agreement, you can use gerund as your subject. So, if you have one gerund as your subject, your verb there is singular. If you have two gerunds, then your verb will be plural. Example here. Standing in the water was a bad idea. You have one subject, standing, which is a gerund because it ends in ing. Standing in the water is the whole or the complete subject. It's singular because it's only about one gerund, so you need a verb was. Take example 2. Swimming in the ocean and playing drums are my hobbies. Here, you have two gerunds, swimming in the ocean and playing drums. So you have two subjects, therefore your verb should be plural. And so our are here makes sense. This is our verb. Rule number 17. Rule number 17 involves collective nouns. So, what does it say? It says a collective noun is considered singular when the group is regarded as a unit. It is plural when the emphasis is upon the individuals of the group. First, let's understand what a collective noun is. What is an example of a collective noun? Family is one example of a collective noun. Another is class, army, group. Okay, school, flock. So these are words, these are nouns which are referring to groups. Now, there are two rules involved in collective nouns. The first one is if the collective noun is regarded as a group, or if you are taking the collective noun as a group, then you will need a singular verb for it. For example, the class is orderly. You're taking the class as a unit. So therefore, your reference is singular as a unit, and therefore a singular needed. The second example, the class are divided on their plan. Notice you have the same subject class, a collective noun. In the first one, you're using singular verb, and in the second example, you're using the plural verb. Why? Because in this case, you are not anymore taking the class as a unit, but you are taking it according to the members of the class. Those members who are divided. So when you are referring to the members of the class or the members of the collective noun, your verb there is plural because you are now looking into the individual members of that particular collective noun. Okay? Let me give you another example. I would say, the flock flies eastward. Flock is a collective noun. My verb is flies because you are taking the flock as a unit. No, they have one direction, which is going to the east. But if I'd say the flock fly to different directions, that would still be correct. In the second example, it is already plural. The use of flock there is plural because we are looking at we are considering the individual members of the flock who are flying to different directions. So again, collective nouns can be used singularly and plurally. Okay, so you have to remember if the reference is to the unit, singular. If the reference would be to the members of the collective noun, then plural verb is required. Moving on. So you have a list actually of collective nouns for humans, for animals, for things. Okay, so you can take a look at them. Rule number 18. The expressions one of and each of can be followed by plural nouns, but they take singular verbs. So, one of the reasons is failure to submit requirements. You have here an expression, one of. Notice, one of is followed by a plural noun, reasons. Okay? But you have a verb here which is singular. Why so? Because the rule says the expressions one of and each of must be followed by plural nouns, but they take singular verbs. So, one of the reasons is, one of my friends is, one of my relatives is. Okay? So, if we're not using one of, but we're using each of, the same rule will be followed. So, you say, each of the items was inspected. So, our subject here is each of, not items. Now, this can be confusing because if you have, like in example 2, you might confuse items, the word items, as your subject, when in fact it's not. It's each of, which is an expression, that is your subject, so which is singular, and therefore you have was inspected as your verb. Alright? I hope that's understood. Rule number 19. Rule number 19 says, when there are positive and negative subjects of different number, the verb must agree with the positive subject. What does that mean? That means that in your subject position, you have a positive subject and a negative subject. How do I know it's the positive subject and it's the negative subject? You would know that it's the negative subject because you will see the word not. So let's take a look at this example. The teachers, but not the student, have ordered the class to leave. Let's analyze this sentence. So, talking about positive and negative subjects. The teachers, that's our positive subject, but not the student. Okay? Not the student, this is the negative subject now. So, it says, the rule says, our agreement lies on the positive subject and the verb. So, the verb now agrees with the positive subject, not with the negative. So, our positive subject is the teachers, the word teachers, plural. Therefore, our verb here is have. Okay? It's not the student, which is our subject. It's the teachers, because this is the positive subject. We have two subjects here. Okay? A positive subject and a negative subject. Again, negative subject because it bears the word not. Another example. Not the students, but the teacher dismisses the class. Now, let's analyze now. We have two subjects here. Not the students, meaning this is our negative subject, but the teacher now is our positive subject. Remember that the rule says the verb agrees with the positive subject. So, we have to locate our positive subject. So, we have here the teacher, which is singular, as our positive subject. Therefore, this is singular. This will be paired with a singular verb. Dismisses is a singular verb. So, we have an agreement here of subject and verb. Okay? Rule number 20, the last of the rules. Okay, so we have a title of a book, movie, novel, etc. that is in plural form is treated as singular and must take a singular verb. Guys, we are talking about one title here because one title can be written in plural form. For example, The Avengers, the movie The Avengers. Okay, one title, The Avengers, but if you look at the word, it's plural in form, Avengers. But since this is a title, even if it is plural in form, okay, but we mean one title only, our verb will be singular. So, The Avengers is a movie that has thrilled young children. So, singular. However, if you have many titles also, then of course your verb will become plural. So, for example, you say, The Avengers and The Incredibles are my favorite movies. Are because you have two titles, The Avengers and The Incredibles now, both in plural form. I hope you learned something about our subject-verb agreement. Guys, keep learning, and whatever learnings you have, apply them in your speaking and in your writing. Okay? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Yes, don't forget to hit that tiny bell so you will be notified of my next video. See you in my next video, guys. Bye!
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden.